everyone. Welcome to First Things First. Kevin has made it to day 2. The bar is higher today, my friend. Takeaways from day 1.
Takeaways, I had some, you know what, my kids were more excited than anyone. They said they loved my friends, which was nice.
Were the friends?
Yes.
Okay.
They loved your NBA graphic. They're like, oh, I could go and look at the NBA graphics. And they were just so excited to see me. And I said, Russ, what about me? And he goes,
It's funny. My kids said the exact same thing. New guy.
What's the new guy?
Good to see you, B.
Good to see you as well.
Absolutely.
All right.
I mean, no.
Kevin,
no.
You're not? You won't?
He doesn't want to do it. Oh,
There you
we're
go.
going.
Now we can start.
Here we go.
Okay.
All right, we made it to day 2. We made it to Friday. We got a ton to get to today. Big show. So LeBron James might have proof that he can afford to rest a little more. Jerry Jones knows he can't afford to let Dak slip through the cracks. And the Patriots might be learning that they cannot afford to actually pay Tom Brady. That's where we start this morning. Here we go. So we've heard the rumors that Brady wants $30 million per season. Doesn't appear that's what the Patriots want to pay him. Jeff Darlington is reporting that Brady is now operating under the belief that he will leave New England. Nick, what are the chances Brady stays with the Patriots at this point?
At this point, you got to feel it's very, very low. I'm a gambling man, so what would I need to bet on?
This is the first I'm hearing it.
What would I need to bet on the Patriots retaining Tom Brady? Like 4.5 to 1 plus 450? So that'd be, it's like 22% according to the odds I created.
That makes me feel all right, actually.
Oh, yeah, I
honestly,
don't think it's
22% makes me feel great.
I don't think it's
That
like
he's
a 1
coming
in
back.
100 shot.
Okay,
but I think right now, if you were to roll the die, 4 or 5 of the 6 outcomes involve him playing somewhere else. And at this point, the only reason it's at even in the low 20s in my mind and not lower is because there is a factor here that we haven't heard from lately, and that's Robert Kraft. Will Robert Kraft step in and say, Tom Brady is finishing his career here? And if he does that, is he willing to roll the die that Bill Belichick might say, okay, I'm not? Not because Belichick doesn't love Brady.
Time.
Yeah.
Are you saying Belichick's going to leave?
What I'm saying is, I can't prove it, but I believe in Bill Belichick's contract with the New England Patriots. It says in black letter, full control of football decisions. And that if Robert Kraft comes in and vetoes or meddles or comes over the top.
Which he's done once before.
She's done once before. I think Belichick could walk. I think that Belichick could. And the only reason I think Kraft has not done it is because he knows if I meddle in this, maybe I'll keep Brady for the next 2 years, but cost myself Belichick for the next 12. And that's why I think there is a chance Tom Brady comes back, Brian, but it could be at the expense of the head coach.
Brian, what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, first of all, I think there's a 75% chance that Tom Brady returns back to New England.
22 to 75.
But here's the reason why. He hasn't had a conversation with Bill Belichick. And sometimes when you have that conversation with your coach, and I had a bunch of conversations with Andy Reid, and when I went into their office, we're in the middle of negotiations, and I had my agent talking to Joe Banner. I had my agent talking to the owner. But when I had the conversation with Andy Reid, man to man, that's when the deal got done.
Really?
And at some point, that's exactly what happened. Not the agent.
Your agent's in the room or just you and...
It was just me and Andy Reid. It was actually a Saturday before a game. So we did the game prep, and then I go into his office right after the game prep before the buses leave, and we hammered out the contract. But without the agent, I wish I didn't have to pay my agency fee, but I still did. But it was a conversation between the player and the coach. And I think that at some point, Tom Brady is going to have a conversation with Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick's going to say, listen, Tom, I can pay you 30, I can pay you 29, whatever that number is, and Tom is going to have to say no to the man that he's been with for the last 19 years.
You're the diehard Patriot fan on this desk here. Would you rather have Tom Brady for 2 years or, like Nick said, Bill Belichick for the foreseeable future?
If that's the choice.
that is a fantastic question.
It's an easy answer.
Let the man answer.
He knows the answer. He don't want to say it.
He might not. Maybe.
No, he knows.
Let me hear an answer.
Yeah, Belichick.
It's a 3-hour show. You're going to have to say
I would rather have Bill Belichick.
Of course.
But do you really believe that?
Unfortunately,
Really?
that's the right
Kevin,
answer.
why?
It's because
just
the
longer.
coach, and because the coach does not deteriorate. The coach, in theory, only gets better.
But do you really believe Bill Belichick would say, if Robert Kraft says you have to have the greatest quarterback in our organization's history, the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL, you have to have him for 2 more years, Bill Belichick would be like, you know what? I've been here for a long time, but this is the straw that broke the camel's back.
for me.
I
I'm
think
out
that
of
Bill
here.
Belichick knows that the whole Patriot era does not unfold the way it did if Robert Kraft meddled 20 years ago. 20 years ago, 19 years ago, Drew Bledsoe gets hurt.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick has none of this pedigree, none of the cachet he's built up. Robert Kraft was on the record saying one of the reasons he bought the Patriots was because of the stability that Drew Bledsoe brought to the organization. He had just given him the biggest contract in NFL history. And Belichick had a very tough conversation with Kraft saying, we need to go with the kid. Kraft didn't want to, but he let him. It ended up being the greatest decision Robert Kraft, Belichick, anyone arguably in football history has ever made. I think Bill Belichick believes our system only works. We can't have a little Jerry Jones sprinkled in where it's my word is the last word, except maybe sometimes. And already once, Kraft came in, and I think Belichick looks back on that and says, how's that working out for us, by the way?
That
Would
was
we
with
like
Jimmy
to have
Garoppolo
tried
getting
to
sent to San
have worked
Francisco.
something out with Jimmy Garoppolo? Would we like to see if there's some way we could have kept him and not had Jared Stidham as the backup? So
Well, they won a Super Bowl after that.
No, of course. Sticking with Tom was the right decision, but moving off Garoppolo win in the way they did maybe wasn't. I just don't think Belichick wants people to meddle in his business. I think Kraft knows it.
All right, so there's the other side of this, and that's should the Patriots even want Brady back? According to a report, they haven't even reached out to Brady about a new deal. I mean, Nick, if not Brady, who? Who should New England turn to as their next quarterback?
Well, Brian, let's just assume that he's not there. I know you're at 75%, but for the sake of this argument, for the moment, let's assume he's not there. To me, there's 4 obvious options. The coolest option is Cam Newton. Okay. I know the Panthers have come out and said that he's our guy, but minds can change. The safest option is Teddy Bridgewater. The most boring option is Andy Dalton, and the most interesting option is Marcus Mariota. The reason I say most interesting for Mariota is Mariota, second overall pick in year 2, looked like he was. Well,
didn't even finish the season out with his own team.
This year he did not. In year 2, he was awesome. Never turned the ball over. I think he had a 96 rating. He had a 4-to-1, 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, and then his play has trailed off. It's one of those 4 names, in my opinion. I don't think it's Jared Stidham. You can go cool Cam, safe Teddy, boring Andy Dalton, or interesting Marcus Mariota. One of those 4 guys.
Sorry, Andy Dalton.
Yeah. I like Teddy, and I think he's a good fit because he's not going to turn the ball over. He's accurate. He has short term, and he's short as far as distance throws. He's great at the intermediate throws. He's not going to wow you with the down the field weapons and his throws down the field, but they don't have the weapons to kind of complete the ball down the field anyway at this point. And so, to me, the safest bet is Teddy, and I think you're right about that. And that's the way that I would go if I'm Bill Belichick. I just want to make sure that my defense can be on the field and we're not turning the ball over in our own territory so they get in short field. That's the one thing that you can't win with. The interceptions, that's the biggest issue. Teddy's a great choice.
Just real quick, on the Bridgewater thing, just follow up very briefly. I do wonder if Bridgewater is going to cost the same Brady would. Like, I think Mariota's would be very cheap. I think Bridgewater's going to get more than $25 million a year.
Well, did you go cheap, though? Is that the answer? Going to Marcus Mariota may be cheaper, but is that really the answer if you want to win? Because if I'm a New England Patriots fan and they say, well, we could have paid Tom Brady $30 million or we can pay Marcus Mariota $20, I'm like, pay Tom Brady. It's worth the 10 extra million. If it's Teddy Bridgewater at 25, 28, something like that, you still can make the argument. But if it's Teddy at 28 and Tom Brady at 30, there's no question. There's no discussion at all. You go with Tom Brady.
So we've got one quarterback on the roster, Jared Stidham.
Jared Stidham.
So I, of course, know who Jared Stidham. I'm a huge Jared Stidham fan. But just for the audience at home, we put together a helpful, handy guide to who is Jared Stidham. So the question is, which one of these faces is Jared Stidham?
Okay. Do you really want the answer?
Yes.
Well, I know who
the guy on the far right is Stephen Hubbard.
That's our producer.
That's our producer.
I only know that that's not Jared Stidham.
The guy in the middle has to be a Gronkowski. I don't know which one, but it's got to be one of them. So I'm going to say the guy on the left.
The guy on the left is my second favorite quarterback on the New England Patriots, Jared Stidham. Hi, my name's Jarrett. We can get to know Jarrett. He was at Auburn. He was good.
He was okay.
What do you mean he's okay? He was great.
Okay.
Got drafted by the Patriots. Must have been great.
Okay.
Is he ready to win right now? That's the question.
Right.
The Patriots defense is ready to win right now. Bill Belichick is ready to win right now.
I trust in Belichick. If Belichick puts him on the field, we're ready to win.
Belichick's not putting him on the field. If Brady's not there, you're getting one of these 4 guys we listed. Jared Stidham is going to be a backup quarterback. I know Jared Stidham's family, so I'm rooting for him, but he's not ready yet.
Hey,
Jared Stidham's not quite ready yet.
Jarrett, two Stidham fans.
The last time I saw him,
Hey, Gronkowski, way to get on that board.
To put another Brady back in the game.
All right, moving on. Lakers played the Warriors last night. You know, once upon a time,
LeBron.
this would have been the marquee matchup, right? LeBron, Clay, Steph, KD.
He's great.
Not so much.
He's just great.
Lakers beat him by 30. LeBron had a good seat to watch all this, sitting out with that sore groin. Nick, with a nice cushion in the West, did last night prove that maybe the Lakers should consider load managing LeBron? You don't have to call it that, but at least letting him rest a game or two on these games?
Why they got the cushion? Because they haven't been load managing him. Because he's handling this exactly right. Same way he's handled it his entire career. If he's healthy, he'll play, with a few rare exceptions, either at the very end of the season if everything's clinched, or a game or two during the regular season. 17th year, 14 times he's played at least 74 games, if we include this year, which he's going to. 1 year was a lockout year where they only had 66 games. 1 year was last year where he ripped his groin and he played 55. And then his first year back in Miami when he had the knee, I don't know if it was a knee drain, he had something with his knee where he missed 2 weeks. He famously was at the national championship game to watch, I think, Ohio State win the title. Every other year, it's 74 plus, and most years it's 77-ish games, which is exactly what he should be doing. You set yourself up to rest in the final week of the year. If you need a day, you take it. And LeBron understands more than Steph, more than KD when they're healthy, more than Giannis right now. He has a unique responsibility to the game and to the fans, which is one of the reasons why, Antoine, not just because the Warriors are terrible, I like that if he's going to do it on the road, do it in a stadium, in a place where fans have had a bunch of opportunities to see you. No road team has seen LeBron more over the last 5-6 years than Golden State because all the finals appearances. So those fans have likely had the opportunity. So, no, I think the Lakers and LeBron are handling this exactly right for him and for the team's ultimate success.
I think he continues to play at the level that he's playing at right now. Obviously, if his groin was bothering him, picked a good game for him to sit out. Golden State, obviously, they're not playing very well this year. But I think for LeBron, you got to play, especially the month of March, play that all the way through. And then you get to April. Now you start to look at it. They only got 3 tough games in April, record-wise, when you look at it. Obviously, you want to see them play against the Clippers. They need a really good sample size against the Clippers, maybe some matchup things like that in April. You look at that game. But I continue to do what I'm doing if I'm LeBron. I want to play. If I'm healthy enough and I'm not going to, if my groin's really hurt, now I don't want to mess it up because obviously that's one injury you don't want to linger on. But if I'm okay, I'm going to continue to play at the pace I am. They're only 5.5 games up, which is a nice lead. But you can have one bad losing streak and let somebody else back in. So you want to keep focused, keep going where they're going. Perfect game last night to sit out, yep. I think, against, obviously, Golden State. I'm a little different than you, Nick. I think he does have a responsibility to play. But LeBron has been responsible for 17 years. If he chooses now towards the end of his career to miss a few games, you can't hold that against him. I don't think the league can hold that against him because he's been the one reliable star that we've had over the last 17 years. Is going to play night in and night out no matter what.
You know what I think you should do? Chill.
You want him to sit a block?
Chill.
Why?
This is LeBron I like. A, he's older. He knows the value of rest. Can we throw up the games where I think he should rest?
Oh, you've already gone through it?
Yeah.
You know when he should rest?
Yes, I'm recommending that he rests
anyone
on the
that's got
following
tickets
games.
to these games.
But we don't have it quite up yet, but that's okay. When it comes boom, here they are. Chill. These teams all have 20 wins or less. LeBron's responsibility. You know what? I'm going to make one change. He should play March 26th at the Cavs.
No.
It's like a nice homecoming game.
Of all the
That's
games, I think you should play all those games maybe except the Cavs game. Yeah, man, take a few. And he should announce this week the next time he's going to rest is the Cavs. Take some money out of Dan Gilbert's pockets.
Actually, I'll tell an interesting story because I used to work.
Somewhere else. Go ahead.
We'll call it somewhere else.
I don't.
How about you worked not here?
Okay. I talked to the NBA programming people, and I was like, "Hey, how's the season work? Like, how's it work? But like, what's the balance?" They're like, "All right, like regular season is like here. Oh, this I'm not on. Like regular season is like here. Playoffs is up here." And I was like, "Well, where's finals?" Like, well, finals are at the roof of the building. So like the idea that you have a responsibility to the league is 100% correct, but his real responsibility is to get to the finals for the league's health globally.
Yes.
So if he has to miss a game against the Wizards,
but this
like
is
that's
where
the
it's
way
a
it
false
goes.
choice, and this is where the Clippers are going to learn, have a very rude awakening come the postseason, which is not playing in the regular season, not getting in rhythm, not getting in flow, not getting the best seed possible can hurt your ability to play in those NBA Finals games. LeBron is going to be able to rest the final week of the regular season when everything's clinched. He does not need to be resting now, and it is not the best thing for his team to be resting.
Well, let me add this. First of all, he's a basketball player. When you love the game, man, you want to play. LeBron don't want to just sit out and be on the bench. I think he looked like he had
For the
fun.
record, he loves to.
Look,
he's a great fan.
But
The guy is like
because
a great basketball player.
That's what separates him from other superstars, because he's able to engage his whole team. And you saw that. He roots for those guys. He sits on the bench. We've seen many of superstars miss games and not even sit on the bench. So I give LeBron credit. He's one of the guys that does that. But the thing you got to think about is that LeBron loves to play, and it's Frank Vogel's job now in practice. Now we're not going to practice as much. We're going to do more walkthroughs. We're going to do more getting up shots. That's the way you handle superstars. You don't give them games off. You give them practices off.
Oh, okay.
You give them the off days. Just come in, LeBron, get some shots up, work on your body. That's how you load manage them. That's how I get so frustrated with Kawhi Leonard, is because he can easily have a bunch of days off if he wants to. Don't practice. Just get you some shots up, work on your body, instead of taking games off. I hated practice. I would love to take them off. I hated practice, but I wouldn't miss a game.
Let me ask you a question. A little earlier, you said if it was his groin that was bothering him, and there was some speculation that, and it's fine, maybe he wanted to just take a day off and rest. Then I do have to ask you a little bit of a hypocritical question, because back in, what was it? I think it was mid-December, LeBron had this to say, if we could stick this up there: if I'm healthy, I play. I mean, that should be the approach, unless we're getting to like late in the season and we've clinched and we can't get any better or any worse. It could benefit from that, but why wouldn't I play if I'm healthy? It doesn't make any sense to me personally. So, Nick, was LeBron maybe being a little hypocritical here?
No, he's doing exactly what he said he would do. Maybe that statement was 1% or 2 too strong. Maybe it should have said, if I'm healthy, I will almost always play, with the rare exception. Now, I don't know if his groin was actually hurting him or if they just said that so they wouldn't get the $25,000 fine the Timberwolves just got for sitting D'Angelo Russell. But here's the fact of the matter. I am certain I'm right about this. The exact same people who are criticizing LeBron or will criticize LeBron for taking a game off are the same people who criticized him when he played all 82. When he played all 82, and this year, when he wasn't taking any time off, what was it? Oh, he's more worried about Kareem than winning. Oh, he's more worried about individual accolades than winning. So, no, there is nothing LeBron could do in relation to games played. We proved it in year 15 when he played all 82, led the league in minutes per game. The year after, in year 14, leading the league in minutes per game. People criticized that. And now when he takes a night off, when he's only taken 3 nights off all year, once we knew he had the flu. He was coughing sick 3 days prior. He took the night off, got criticized for that. People said he made up the flu. No matter what he does, people are going to say it's the wrong thing. They operate from the perspective of LeBron's decision is wrong. We'll work backwards logically. He's going to get about 6 nights off at the end of the year because they're going to have the whole thing clinched and they're going to be rested going into the postseason.
Remember? I had the flu. You thought I made up.
You missed 3 weeks in consecutive years with the flu.
Sick.
Can you imagine when Jenna gets coronavirus? Oh, my God.
Now we've relationship status update, Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott. It certainly appears the Cowboys want Dak back, with Jerry Jones saying, quote, "This is a deal I have to get done, but it has to fit." But according to the Dallas Morning News, Dak turned down an offer in September that would have paid him $33 million per year, with over $100 million guaranteed. Nick, at this point, any chance this deal doesn't get done?
Yes, absolutely. I pride myself on being as prepared for these shows as anybody on any network that does them. It's like my only calling card is uber preparation. Every day I do one of these things.
That's
notes
huge folder.
It's a manila folder, color coded with notes for everything. Do you know what my Dak section is? It's blank. Because I've been saying the same damn thing about Dak. I could repeat it for 3 months. Because if he turned, what'd you say he turned down, Jenna?
$33 million, $100 million guaranteed.
Oh, okay. So he turned that down, and they called off the negotiations. They didn't talk. In September, they presented him with, the Dallas Morning News reported around 33. The Athletic reported around 34. You have now two unrelated sources saying that's what they brought.
In that same ballpark.
Right in the Carson Wentz range. And they were so far away from each other that they called off the negotiations for months. Dak wants to get paid the type of money Patrick Mahomes is going to get paid.
Never.
And if he does not come off that, then absolutely the franchise tag comes into play. And if the franchise tag comes into play, and this is maybe too extreme for some people to think about, but I think it must be considered, then you are not doing your due diligence if you don't at least quietly call teams and say, what would you trade me for Dak?
Do you think?
What would you give me for Dak?
Do you think, like, we're talking about 100 million versus what, 130? 30?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of them. We're talking about 100.
He's not getting 100.
Well, no, but do you think it's when you mentioned Mahomes, Brian? Is it like is it a money thing? I want to buy an island, or is it a respect thing between players?
Well, I think Carson as well as Jared Goff, they got paid a year ago, so a year and a half ago. And I think as far as Dak, he's saying, well, first of all, here's the most important thing. We're not sure what the guarantees were as far as what are you actually going to get. Maybe he will get $100 million in guarantees, but not all of those are actual
but when you
signing bonus. You're going to actually get that.
When you were in contracts, were you looking around the league and trying to figure out
yourself, or was it about?
And if he got this, I deserve this. Was that
absolutely? So I'm absolutely saying, okay, Tiki Barber is here. Hopefully, he got paid 2 years ago. I want to get more than that. And LaDainian was up here. He was the best back in the league. So I know I'm not getting LaDainian money. So I had to be somewhere in the middle.
You knew you weren't getting LaDainian money. I don't think Dak thinks he's not going to get Patrick Mahomes money.
Why? Well, why wouldn't he think that? If I'm Dak, this is what I'm saying. I put up my best season as far as yards, 4,900 yards. Best season as far as touchdowns. 2 of the last 4 years, I've won the NFC East. I've led my team to winning more games than Jared Goff and Carson Wentz. Why wouldn't you pay me? I've been the face of your franchise. I've been to a point where I've been everything that you want. The things that you want the owner to say that Jerry Jones doesn't say, I've said the right thing. I've held this thing together when Zeke wasn't there. What do you mean you don't want to pay me? What else do you want to see from Dak Prescott that you haven't seen that you think you'll get out of some other quarterback? What are those things?
You got your agent certificate.
Which is why it might not get done, because that is exactly how Dak feels. And I respect that mentality immensely. And by the way, I'm all for play. I hate being the guy saying don't pay the players. I think the players deserve even more money. But on a hard-capped league standpoint, where we have a long history of good but not great quarterbacks getting top of the market money and their team being kneecapped by it. Is Dak Prescott markedly better than Matt Stafford? Stafford throws a prettier ball. Dak's more available. Stafford's a little more, I think, has a little more upside, but has had a long time to show it and hasn't fully realized it. Dak is more consistent, so it's kind of, eye of the beholder. The moment they gave Matt Stafford that money, what's happened to the Lions? Man, they cap out at 9-7. You know why? Because you can't surround them with enough people. That is what the position the Cowboys don't want to put themselves in, which is why if he's having that negotiating tact, which I don't blame him for, especially since Jerry, Steven, and McCarthy have done nothing but sing his praises, then guess what? That's where the franchise tag comes into play, and you start playing a game of chicken with your franchise quarterback.
So can we answer the question that you asked? What else does Dak need to do to command that kind of money that he wants? What else do you want to see from him besides all the accolades that you
Well, I think that the obvious answer is wins. You want him to see in the playoff wins and Super Bowls. Of course, if you can get there.
Carson got that money and he didn't.
But he did not. Carson has not been close to the Super Bowl. He only played maybe a half or so in the playoffs, and he got paid. That's because Philly believes that he's the future. I think Dallas is still not sure that he's the future.
It's because Carson's better.
Maybe, but Dak and his team has won more games.
Mm-hmm.
Dak has put up more yards. Dak has been more available. And you made a point about when you talked about Patrick Mahomes, pay him whatever you want, back up the Brinks truck, just give him whatever. Then you're saying, well, maybe Dak should take a little bit less and put better pieces around.
No, I'm not. No. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is it is impossible from the Chiefs' perspective to overpay Mahomes. He's that good. He's so much more valuable than the next most valuable guy. I don't begrudge Dak for asking for the sun and the stars. I'm saying if I'm the Cowboys, there is a number that is a walk-away number because he is not that good. So, he is not nearly, I shouldn't say that good. He is not as good as the numbers would dictate.
Well, who do you replace him with? Who's the next guy that's going to help you win now? That's the question you have to ask.
The thing is, you don't have to because the franchise tag. If they have the franchise tag to hold over his head, like he's not actually a free agent this year.
Right.
He won't actually be a free agent next year because of the franchise tag, which is the ultimate negotiating tool for the owners.
Brian, when you were doing contract deals, how much transparency was there within the salary cap? Were you having to do math and like, well, if I take this?
No. Well, running backs don't have to worry about that. Running backs, we're taking such a small piece of the pie that we're not worried about the cap.
You just want as much as possible.
That's quarterback problems, defensive end and quarterback.
And would you talk to your quarterbacks about? No.
Hey, Donovan, take less so I can get more. No, that conversation never happened. No, I would hope that he would say, I'll take less so Westbrook could get more. But
so if I was Donovan and I took less, I'd be like, hey, by the way,
yeah,
I took less.
The only athlete we ever hear has ever done anything close to that's been Tom Brady.
In the NFL,
who probably understood the cap and how to
And guess
negotiate
Guess what the Patriots did with that savings?
Win 6 Super Bowls?
Okay, but hold on. But traded away Brandon Cooks. Traded away. It's not
Brandon Cooks?
Hold on.
Got 6 Super Bowls.
No, I get it. And you can listen. The Brady discounts are one of the more overrated and overwrought stories ever. He got the biggest contract in the league in 2010. He didn't take discounts early in his career. He got paid 2 years early in each contract. So of course you have to take a discount in order to lock in that money. It's only been the last 6 years he's taken discounts. But if you're Brady, the evidence is the Patriots haven't then surrounded. They haven't gone all in like the Rams. They haven't gone all in like the Eagles with that money. They have always been looking forward. They have always been preparing for life after Brady. This whole idea of take less, I do not think Dak should take less than what he's worth. We just disagree on what he's worth. It is perfect that is happening simultaneously with this CBA negotiation because right now you have the owners fighting and clawing for 0.5%. The players would love to get to 49. They're being offered 48 with a chance to get to 48.5% of the revenue. That extra 0.5% would make all this a moot point. It's an extra $12 million per team per year on the cap. Then there's the difference. But no, we only put the responsibility on the players to take less, be selfless, make it about winning. How about you want to make it about winning? Remove the cap entirely. So we never do that to the owner. So I'm not trying to do that to Dak. I am not saying Dak should take less than he's worth so they can re-sign Amari. I'm saying the Cowboys need to be careful to not pay Dak like he's the third best quarterback in football when in a couple years he could be the third best quarterback in his own division. That's what I'm saying they've got to be careful of.
Time for Take Your Pick, gentlemen. Yesterday, LeBron sat out against the Warriors. Lakers didn't seem to miss a much. They won by 30. And as we know, Kawhi is the poster child for load management. So who should be more focused on resting down the stretch, LeBron or Kawhi? Antoine, take your pick.
I think it's got to be Kawhi. I looked at last year and I really thought about how worn down he got as the playoffs went along last year.
Yeah. Last year he played 60 whole games.
But he was really worn down come playoffs. You know, you talk about in the finals, he was banged up. And I think for him, it's more important for him to continue to use load management. Unfortunately, he's not a guy that can play you 70 games, 75 games. So you got to stay the course and just continue to rest him and hope that he can be healthy going into the playoffs.
Yeah, in a perfect world, I would agree with you. But in this world, the answer is LeBron, because LeBron's team's going to clinch the one with about 2 weeks left in the season. So he'll be able to focus on rest, his red wine, chilling out. Kawhi's team's going to be fighting to not be on the road in game 1 of the first round. So Kawhi ain't going to have the benefit of resting down the stretch. He used his load management early in the season. LeBron's been banking it for late in the season. So the answer is LeBron James for me.
You think Kawhi? So you want LeBron to rest starting when?
Well, once they have the 1 seed clinched. So I would imagine with 6 games left.
And
so rest
no rust. You're not worried about rust.
Rust, please. No, I'm not worried about rust.
Okay, let him chill. Let him chill. I'm pro. Let him chill.
He'll be fine in the first round against either Ja or Zion.
Moving on. According to a report, Joel Embiid's shoulder injury will keep him out at least a week, and Ben Simmons is expected to miss an extended period of time with his back injury. So which injury is a bigger concern for Philly? Nick, take your pick.
For this season, it's definitely Ben Simmons. Like, the bigger injury risk is Joel Embiid holistically.
Right.
But right now, Ben Simmons, who had been perfectly healthy as a pro up until this back injury, aside from his rookie season. Obviously, he missed the whole thing
season
with a foot.
Yep.
We don't know when Ben Simmons is going to be back. This could be a month. This could maybe be into the postseason. So to me, Antoine, it's definitely Ben Simmons.
I agree with you. It has been, and I just don't like the injury being in the back. You don't know where this thing can go. Ben's an athletic guy, plays, obviously he's a guy that drives to the basket, a very good defender. Obviously, he hasn't shown that he's yet to be able to shoot a jump shot. So you got to be worried moving forward, not only this season, but the future, to make sure this back injury is not something that is going to linger on throughout his career. So I'm really concerned about it. He's too young to be having back problems.
Wild.
Can they win the championship?
Can they win if both these guys get back healthy?
Yeah.
If something happens to Giannis, but it's the only chance. I think it's the only. And even if something happens to Giannis, you've got a bunch of teams. You got
They can't win it this year. They're out of it this year. But eventually they can.
So would you sit out?
I'm saying, would you rest them an extended amount of time?
Basketball players got to play basketball when they're healthy. This whole idea.
They're not healthy. No, the question's injury risk.
But you're asking, should you rest them longer once they are healthy?
No, be 100%. Like if you're sick and you are like, I'm healthy enough to come to work.
Yeah.
But I'm still a little sick.
Yeah, guess what? I come to work. I come to work.
We all
never
come
missed a
to
day.
work.
Okay.
So you've come. Basically, you're saying you come to work when you're sick.
We all come to work.
I've never missed a day of work.
None of
Have you
us
been
have.
sick?
I've never missed a day of work.
Okay.
Show up. This crazy thing of, let's plan for the 2027 season. It's so stupid.
Giannis and the Bucks take on the Thunder tonight. Milwaukee is on pace to win 70 games this season.
This is shocking.
So what would be more impressive if they pull it off? The Warriors winning 73 games in 2016 or the Bucks winning 70 in 2020? Nick, take your pick.
The 73-win Warriors. That was the most unstoppable regular season team I have ever seen.
Effortless.
They were the best offense, the best defense. They had a player who that season, the moment do you remember the game? In fact, the anniversary of this game was yesterday. So we're talking about the 4-year anniversary of Steph from about 3 feet in front of half court, overtime against the Thunder. You remember that when he just pulled up from 37 to win the game? At that moment, I thought they had solved basketball. I was like, this team's going to win. Before they even had Durant, I was like, this team's going to win 6 in a row. Now we know what happened at the end of the year. The greatest player ever, the greatest 3-game stretch ever, and they stole the title from him. But no, that 73-win Warrior team was as dominant as anything I've ever seen in the sport.
I disagree with you. I think it's the Bucks, and the reason why I think it's the Bucks, the parity right now in the league is much better than when they won it when they won 73 and 15 and 16.
But Antoine, you look at the Bucks as like an all-time 96 Bulls type team.
The way how tough the Western Conference is, you got so many better teams in the Western Conference. The Eastern Conference is much better. Those top 4 teams are really good, and to win 70 games in this league this year, you got to get them a lot of credit.
That's an all-time
and the way they've done it,
Did
and the
you know it at the time?
And the efficiency that Giannis is playing with. I mean, this is an impressive year when people look at. I think because they're in a small market, they're in Milwaukee. We don't see them on national TV a lot. We know we're putting their season down. This is a great season and a very exciting team to watch night in and night out.
All-time great team?
Oh yeah, no question. When they finish, if they win 70 games, they'd definitely be one of the top 5.
What?
On to the Boston Celtics.
I love that take. I love it.
Kemba Walker has missed the Celtics' last 4 games with a knee injury, and in the meantime, Jason Tatum has been playing lights out. So who's more important to a Celtics title run, Kemba or Tatum? Tuan, take your pick.
Well, obviously, we're seeing right now is Tatum. If Tatum's able to play at the level that he's playing at right now throughout the playoffs, they're going to make a deep run. We'll be seeing them in the Eastern Conference Finals with a chance to go to the finals. So definitely Tatum. And he has to continue to play at the level that he's playing at. Obviously, he may not need 30, but he's got to be a very aggressive scorer.
I'm going to, you know what, since it's title run, I'm going to say neither. The answer is Jaylen Brown. I feel like we know what Kemba's going to give us, and at this point, Tatum is going to give you at least 20 to 26 a night throughout the rest of the year. If they are going to make me look like an idiot and make the NBA Finals, it's going to be because Jaylen Brown fully asserts himself with that $100+ million contract he got this offseason as a legitimate number 3 option for this basketball team.
And then where would Jaylen fit on your superstar tier?
Oh, he'd move into that 4th tier that was off the screen.
There's more tiers?
Of course.
So Tatum would move up.
How many players are in the league, Antoine?
450.
Yeah, 450. So then it's probably a 26, 27 tiers.
Oh man, we have to get the props department on this huge tier.
There's not a monitor.
But if Jaylen Brown can move himself into that 4th tier, then they're a more dangerous team.
Play a little drawing a blank. According to a report, Tom Brady is already operating under the belief he is leaving New England. So Nick Wright, the team that should offer TB12 the biggest contract, is blank.
3 years, $100 million.
Who?
Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, brutal.
He'll make that money up to him in the first 72 hours that he's on the roster. Like, right now, the Chargers do not rate in Los Angeles at all. You're competing not only with the Lakers and the Dodgers, you're competing with the beach, you're competing with Hollywood. You're competing with USC football, UCLA basketball, not so much recently, but still.
UCLA basketball.
Listen, people care about that.
So hey, come to the Chargers. UCLA, the O'Bannons are
no, the reason they would overpay for him, the reason they would offer him 3 years and the ability to play until he's 45 is because they need people to care about them. I didn't even mention them competing with the Rams. The answer is the Chargers.
Yeah, I think the answer is the Chargers as well. But I think it's because you have the weapons now. It's time to win now. If you're Tom Brady, you got 2 or 3 years left. And so the truth is you have to go to a place where that needs to win right now. And you need to win because you need more fans. You have a brand new stadium. There are so many different things in LA that you absolutely can do other than watch football. That's why they need a guy like Tom Brady.
Any of that?
No, I don't.
Would you have I'm putting like Tom Brady? Like,
no, but if you're the Chargers owner, you have to care.
That's why
because you want butts in the stadium,
right? And if you're Tom, you care about Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry, Austin Eckler, Melvin Gordon if he stays on defense. Derwin James, Joey Bosa. They're a quarterback away.
Okay, you've obviously given Wilds a headache.
Yeah,
he now has a headache. Let's look
parking rates. It'd be great for us, Tom.
Let's look at the other side of this. So say Brady does in fact head to a new team like the Chargers. So, Brian, the best fit to replace Brady in New England as quarterback would be blank.
Well, I think it's clear. It's Teddy Bridgewater. He's safe. He's a guy that's going to make the right throw, make the right decision. They're an offense that changes a little bit every single week to different things. Teddy Bridgewater can be the quarterback that can take him to that next level. I think he can make all the throws, and he's not going to turn the ball over. They have a great defense. You need a guy that's not going to turn the football over. Teddy Bridgewater is that guy.
I love Teddy. He's going to be expensive, and the guy I'm going to mention is not going to be expensive, Marcus Mariota. Now, you can say Marcus Mariota hasn't been good since year 2. Year 2 for Marcus Mariota, when he was really good, was 2016. The last full year of football Teddy Bridgewater has played, 2015. So I know he played the 5 games with New Orleans, and I do think Teddy's going to be good for somebody. I think you get Mariota cheap. He adds some mobility to your quarterback position, and he doesn't throw red zone interceptions ever. Mariota to me.
Go.
We're just talking about like Chargers fans. You know how good news, guys. Tom Brady's gone. Marcus Mariota, I'm sure you're a nice gentleman. But Marcus Mariota?
Yeah, hey, guess what? You could have prevented this. If you guys would have given him the contract
I'm going to.
6 months ago.
You're going to?
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
Watch
it's hard to sell.
Watch parking will go down.
On to the Chiefs now. And the challenge of keeping all that talent around Patrick Mahomes. You know, guys like Sammy Watkins. GM Brett Veach says he's trying to bridge the gap in order to bring Watkins back. Nick, the most important Chief other than Mahomes is blank.
Defensive tackle Chris Jones. He's been the best defensive player on this team for a couple years now. He was on the herd with Colin yesterday, right after he found out he got franchise tagged. He was a good sport about it. He didn't seem too happy about it, but this is the push and the pull of the contract they're about to have to give Patrick Mahomes. He's important for two reasons. If you keep him, he's the best player on your defense. He's the best trade chip, though, you have. I think they could get a first-round pick and then something if they move Chris Jones, which you're going to need to have if you pay Patrick Mahomes. So Chris Jones, he was critical in the playoff run. He's the best player on this defense. The offense takes care of itself with Patrick, so I say Chris Jones.
Yeah, I love the Chris Jones pick. I think if I was thinking defensively, I probably would add Tyrann Mathieu in there as well. But I'm thinking offensively, and I'm talking about stretching the field with Tyreek Hill. How do you get Travis Kelce wide open in the middle of the field? That's because Tyreek Hill is stretching the field. How do you get Sammy Watkins going off in the early rounds of the playoffs? That's because Tyreek Hill is stretching the football field. That's why he's the most important weapon to Patrick Mahomes.
You know, the other news that came out of the herd, your guy started talking dynasty again.
Oh, yeah. Good. We're supposed to. We're supposed to talk dynasty again. Absolutely. What are you talking about?
Dynasty talk.
Dynasty.
For years to come.
Oh, my God. One Super Bowl.
About to have back-to-back. Pats haven't gone back-to-back in 15 years.
Bruce Arians said some interesting comments about Jameis Winston yesterday. He said about 10 of Winston's interceptions last year weren't his fault.
Oh, I like that.
Simple math tells me that 20 were.
That means just 1.25 his fault interceptions a game. Not bad.
Probably true. Yeah. That's probably true.
It is probably
a few routes that were broke.
And by the way, Jenna, how many interceptions is he going to throw now that he can see?
See, that's the thing. I was just going to say, LASIK surgery. Let's
go.
He'll throw
less interceptions now.
The quarterback, Brian, with the most to prove next season is blank.
I think it's Lamar Jackson. I mean, we saw what he was able to do all season long. As far as he was dominant, he was the most dominant player. It was just hard for defenses to stop him. And really, you can make the argument that there was no defense in the NFL that stopped him during the regular season. The reason why he has the most to prove is because the postseason play. If you're telling me the most dominant player in the NFL during the regular season, we hope, and I expected it to continue in the playoffs. It did not. He has to do much better in the postseason.
The problem for Lamar is, as far as being able to prove it, what he does in the regular season is almost going to be deemed meaningless.
That's right.
He all of a sudden is almost already in the James Harden category, where it's like, don't care what you do in the regular season, average 36. You have another season where you have 1,200 yards rushing. When his two worst games of his career are his playoff games, that's what it's going to be judged off of. The answer is Tom Brady.
Yes.
Tom Brady.
That's the right answer.
You could say Baker. I understand the argument for Baker.
Sorry, there's a right and wrong here.
But Tom Brady, if he leaves New England, I don't think he has anything left to prove to anybody, but he's going to feel like it, and there's going to be, I think, an unfair media scrutiny of if he fails wherever he goes, wasn't all Belichick. Come on back. You want 44-year-old Brady. My God. Brady's my answer.
That's actually the right
answer. That's the right answer. I mean, that's the right answer.
Oh, eat that. Everyone agrees.
That's not the right answer.
Thank you for listening to the First Things First podcast. Remember, leave us a review and tell us what you think. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and catch us on FS1 Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. Eastern.